He has the latest sports news, expert analysis, award-winning commentary, and a pocket full of cabbage.
Can you give us an indication why?
Just in case there's a sauerkraut emergency.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Mitch Sherman will join us in just a few minutes. We might discuss this topic. And the topic is Nebraska's defense. Will it be better? Will it be worse? Josh, we head to Context Corner.
It's very cozy there. I like it.
Yeah.
Intimate.
Here are the things you need to know.
Okay.
Gives you an idea of how good Nebraska's defense was in 2023. But you have to think about why. Why was Nebraska's defense good?
That's right.
Nebraska's defense allowed 303.5 yards per game, which ended up finishing 11th in America. Now, I will note that some of these where Nebraska has finished like 11th, the next one you're going to hear they finished 7th, the next one after that they finished 9th. A lot of them there was like 4 to 7 Big Ten teams in front of them, and I think that does add important context to this because it tells you that the Big Ten offenses were doo-doo.
Yes.
Okay, so that's notable. 4.62 yards per play. That was 7th in the country last year. 92.92 rush yards per game allowed. Stopping the run. Top 10 in the country. Number 9. I think they finished top 15 in stop rate, which was a stat that we like to track, of course. And in the big one, 13th in the nation in points per game allowed at 18.3. That includes everything, everywhere, all the time. Also, chunk plays. I just used plays of 20 plus yards allowed. Nebraska only allowed 36 of those the entire season last year. That was good for 4th in America. Pretty good. That's a pretty well-rounded defense. 2 things they did not do. They were not great at getting off the field on 3rd down.
God, they really weren't. It was super annoying.
36.67% of 3rd downs were converted by the opponents. That was 45th in the country, so not horrible, but not up to the standard of where the rest of the numbers are for Nebraska's defense. And most notably, in my opinion, their 14 turnovers that they forced last year was near the bottom. 106th in the country. Those are indeed rookie numbers. So, with that being said, what say you? Will Nebraska's defense be better or worse than it was in 2023? And for the record, it's okay to say worse. If you say worse, that's fine. They could still win and probably still win a lot more games.
This feels like a good point for me to interject and say that I do think there's something to the argument of, well, their defense was so good last year because they were playing Big Ten West offenses. I believe there will be a little bit of what appears to be regression, but is actually just playing against better offenses.
That is a good way to put it, Josh. Nebraska will play Illinois, Purdue, Wisconsin, and Iowa. Not the full slate of Big Ten West opponents. They will miss Minnesota and Northwestern this year, which added to the bad quarterbackiness. They will also play some explosive offenses. UTEP has the potential to be that. Colorado has the potential to be that. Rutgers will run the ball. Indiana is going to, do what they're going to spread that thing out and try and huck it around the field. Ohio State is obviously, has a top end. UCLA, we're not sure what they're going to be like. USC, and we know that they have playmakers.
They're both in LA.
That is vast. UCLA, we're in LA.
We're in LA
with USC. So that is discernibly different. I don't think it's a murderer's row of quarterbacks. I don't think it's a murderer's row of offenses, but it is it's definitely different than it was a year ago.
Shador is the best quarterback that will play all year, yes?
What's wrong? You don't like Ethan Kaliakmanis?
I do not.
How about Willie, Big Willie style?
Don't like his prospects. No.
You don't like Will Howard?
I mean, he's going to win a lot of games, and he's the quarterback. He'll
Good.
get a lot of credit for it.
100%. Yeah. There might be somebody else starting at quarterback by the end of the year.
Who's USC's quarterback?
Miller Moss.
That's right.
A man named Miller Moss.
Sounds like a USC quarterback.
I believe UCLA is going with a man named Ethan Garbers.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I think they'll be statistically worse.
Yeah, Shador's the best quarterback this week.
I think with your eyes, you'll be like, yeah, this is about the same.
I think they are. I think with my eyes, they'll be better. I think they are. From a personnel standpoint, everybody's back. They're a year older. They're a year more confident in the scheme. They have more depth. They have more proven depth. They have a little bit. This is the yet to be determined part. I don't know if they have any more explosion. I don't know if they have any more explosiveness, I guess I should say. But I think from an eye test perspective, they are going to be better.
Would you give up like 10 points be 10 points worse in every statistical category?
10 points?
Like 10 places.
Okay.
For
a bunch of turnovers?
10 more turnovers?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I think you would.
Yeah, I most certainly would.
Yeah.
I also think, so here's the other argument for it being better. I've made this before. Nebraska's defense was put in tons of precarious situations a year ago, where teams, had short fields and went down and scored. That could also be another reason for some of these yardage shortages that Nebraska had last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Think about that. I mean, that's
okay.
That's real.
They were playing short fields the whole
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So that matters in this context too. I do think they'll be seeing better quarterbacks, but I do think Nebraska's offense, and its ability to actually hopefully possess the ball and not turn it over and not put them in such bad spots, will help this defense get more confident, get downhill, get rests, things like that. That should manifest itself in one of the key stats that they weren't very good in last year. Third down conversions. Right? They're just, by the end of the drives, they just wore down. And certainly by the end of the season, they wore down as well. I mean, there was a lot of situations at the end of the year last year where it was the defense losing the game for them. Obviously, we remember the picks, but after the picks, they went down and scored. Like relentlessly. Maryland did it. Wisconsin did it. Iowa did it. They only had like 2 plays to move it into field goal range, right? And make it and win. But yeah, I mean, there was some of that was on the defense too. Eye test perspective, I think they'll be better. I think these are really tough standards to live up to. They are top 15 in the country in basically every major statistical category. But where I think they'll be much better this year is in the turnover and third down conversion category. If those numbers come up, the output of allowing 18.3 points per game should stay about the same. That's the hope. Nebraska stays in that range, and the offense goes up from, whatever it was. I think it was around 18 last year to in the mid to upper, 20s. And that creates your formula. So my answer to the question is better. They'll be better. Nebraska's defense will be better next year, this coming year, starting on Saturday. Better.
Connor.
And this is more of an eye test thing. This is like a, college football playoff selection committee type of deal. I got some teams on the bubble here. I'm going to say better. This one's better.
I wrote down worse, but you sounded more detailed than me.
Yeah. Well, we only get those 2 words to use.
I know.
Better or worse.